Hello everyone, it's Caleb here from thebookflipper.com. If you follow along on my blog, you'll know that I'm a bit of a data junkie. I like to ask tough questions, challenge the common assumptions that are out there. For example, books ranked higher than 5 million will never sell. And I like to back up those claims with cold hard facts and either prove them right or in some cases prove them wrong. Now, the best way to track data is with spreadsheets, and I've built a number of them over the years. And what you're looking at here is one I've been putting together. It's called the tracking spreadsheet. And this is what I use to track all the various facets of my own book business when it comes to Amazon. And a lot of you have been asking for me to try and put this together and bring it to you, and I'm very pleased to have done just that. Now, if you're not very familiar with spreadsheets, don't worry about it. I've tried to make this as simple as possible. In fact, there's only 2 spots on the entire spreadsheet where you have to put your data in, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Now, the nice thing with this spreadsheet is if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And so I've wanted to kind of bring the key elements and key metrics when it comes to tracking your Amazon sales that I feel are important, including financial statements like income statements, cash flows, as well as just understanding your overall inventory health and how much of it you're selling so you can make better plans for the future. Now, along with this, if you have the listing spreadsheet, that's still available for free. If you want it, you can email me, thebookflipper@gmail.com, and get a copy. If you want this tracking spreadsheet, this took several months to put together. It'll be available for a one-time fee. I'm not going to charge you a monthly fee to use this, and it's just available for immediate download. And with this, I was actually able to eliminate Inventory Lab and stop paying $49 a month to get access to their data. So, without further ado, let's show you what you can do with it. So first off, to alleviate any concerns about having to input data, 2 very simple tabs. The first is the listing data, and if you have the listing spreadsheet I have, you can also download it from the landing page here or go over to thebookflipper.com/track, TRACK. And the listing spreadsheet has a tab on the bottom for accounting data. Simply copy and paste that into the sheet and you're off and running. On the sales data, it's not multiple reports from Amazon. You don't have to consolidate or build anything. This is the exact layout of a report, and I'll show a different video on how to pull that. It's a single report from Amazon. Simply copy and paste it into the spreadsheet, and your data entry is done. At this point, the spreadsheet will kick in and do everything it needs to do and give you the key metrics you need to manage your Amazon business. The first is the source metrics, and you can see the sources on the side and get a feel for, which library sales have done well for you, which cities that you visited have done well, or if you're selling on consignment for somebody else, you can put a name in there and get a good feel of that as well. You can track what percent of the items has sold, the total list price, the average list price. You can look at the average sales rank to see how risky you're being with certain buying scenarios. Most importantly, you can see how much you've sold, what your inventory cost was, your average inventory costs, inbound shipping rates. You can see Amazon's fees. Yes, we're making them very wealthy. And you can see your profit and your return on investment. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you can get those averages. So you can see my average inventory cost is right around $1.50, but I also do a lot of online arbitrage when it comes to books, and that drives the price up. Overall profit, since I've been doing it, you can see those figures here as well as the ROI. And don't overlook the ROI when it comes to books. I still have a lot of inventory that hasn't sold yet, and even then, the ROI is extremely high, in my case over 300%. So if you're not doing books yet, I strongly consider you to take a look at it. I've got some monthly metrics here. You can see going all the way back, I've been selling for about 13 or 14 months, FBA now. You can see how many books I've listed each month, and you can see, again, I started out listing just a couple hundred a month. Now we're to the point where we're regularly putting in a little over 1,000 books a month into Amazon. You can see the percent sold. So I expect usually 60 to 80% of the books I list to sell. And the books I put in 13, 14 months ago, again, November of 14, I've sold almost 80% of those. If we go back only 6 months to August of 15, I've sold just over 50%. And again, you can plug your own metrics in and see how your sales are doing. You can track your inventory health. Make sure the average list price is where it needs to be for you on a monthly basis, as well as your average sales rank. The next part's really cool. This is a sales rank analysis, so the mentality that books higher than 5 million don't sell. Well, they do. In my case, 17%, or 1 out of 6 of books that I've found ranked higher than 5 million have actually sold. And again, it'll give you all the same metrics we had on the source metrics tab to get an idea of what your average inventory cost, what your total profit is by category or by rank, as well as what your return on investment is. So lots of good data here. As you would expect, this kind of stair steps its way down. So books ranked less than 10,000, I've sold 5 out of 6. Books ranked higher than 5 million, I've sold 1 out of 6. And over time, those numbers should continue to climb a little bit. Next part is cool. If you're not selling consignment sales, you're probably missing out on some money. I'd prefer to pay up front for the books, but in some cases you can't. And it's better off just to say, hey, look, I've got a system, I've got a spreadsheet. I can sell your books for you and give you a commission. It's extremely flexible. You can set up and either take a percentage off the top of the overall sales or a percentage of net profit. You can be as flexible as you want in this scenario. It'll again show you how many books have sold, the total sales price, and this actually backs out anything that's been refunded. So you don't need to worry about that or about trying to worry about tracking those pieces. The spreadsheet does it all for you. At the end, it shows you how much money you're making off the arrangement and then how much commission you owe to the person you're selling on consignment. And then it'll show you how much you still owe. And again, if anything's in green in the spreadsheet, that's where you enter data. If it's white or other colors, don't touch it. Green is good. Anything else, leave it alone. And you can just track your payments, and this will actually feed into the income statement. Inventory turn rates, I've been starting to post these on Facebook a little bit. I thought my inventory turn was about 2.5%, but when I came and calculated it, it's actually 3.5% per week. You can just plug in whatever week you want here. The spreadsheet will fill its way down and give you an idea of how much you're selling per week. And then if you want to see that on a monthly level, you can do that as well. As you'd expect, in the summer months, it's a little bit slower, 7 to 8% a month for me. And again, this is very highly dependent on how you price. As you can see in January, so the height of textbook season, I was fortunate enough to sell 24% of my inventory. So very, very good figures there. You can track your supplies, your mileage. It'll understand what the mileage rate is and automatically factor that in to give you a value. I would recommend using the Mile IQ app if you want to track it on your phone and not have to do this here. You can also track your disposals and returns. It's then going to generate an income statement for you. And I've got this set up to show January 1st through December 31st of 2015. And this is for tax purposes, but you could set this up to look at the first half of the year, any individual month. Now, these figures are going to line up exactly with your 1099 or what Amazon spits out and gives you, so your accountant can help match those up, with a few exceptions. One, it's going to get more granular. So you can look at, Amazon's just going to tell you one number here for Amazon FBA inventory credits. You can then look and see how many units Amazon's losing in the warehouse or in inbounds, how many dollars they're reimbursing you. You can see how many items are refunded. You can even get an idea of what percent of your sales are FBA versus merchant fulfilled, as well as the number of units and the average sales price for those as well. So again, the more that you can measure, the better off you can manage your business. When it comes to expenses, the nicest piece that it calls out is cost of goods sold. So your accountant will thank you, whether it's a man or a woman doing your taxes, or if you're doing your own taxes, they should give you a big hug. If not, ask them why not. It's going to show the cost of goods sold, which is extremely important when it comes to doing your taxes. It'll also track consignment payments, supplies, and all the other income statement items to help you arrive at a net income, which you can then use to unfortunately pay Uncle Sam. It does track a few other items here, the return rate, the actual refund rate. So just because someone returned it doesn't mean that they actually return it. Sometimes they never do, and Amazon should return that back to you. And then we get an idea of the FBA margin. So everything you send into FBA, we kind of use this 60% rule. If I sell $1,000 worth of stuff, Amazon gets roughly 40% of that, whether that's inbound shipping, their selling fees, the transaction fees, so pick, pack, and ship, or whether it's inventory storage fees, subscription fees, what have you. 60% of that comes back to you, and then you got to deduct your cost of goods sold and other expenses from there. But you can kind of judge your own inventory metrics there. Next, you've got a side-by-side income statement. I've got this set up to show January of 15 as compared to January of 16. And you can see my business is growing quite nicely. My gross income is up a little over 260%. So not bad growth. You can check this out for first quarter versus second quarter, first half of the year, second half of the year, last year versus this year, however you want to do it. It's extremely flexible. A few more statements. Cash flow statement. Again, just because your income statement says you're making money doesn't mean your bank account's going up. This shows what Amazon actually put in your bank, minus your inventory that you purchased, minus any consignment payments, and it'll give you a nice idea of your cash flow. And then your inventory valuation, this again is nice. I've set it up for the end of the year. It'll show you what your inventory is worth, how much you still have in Amazon's warehouses. So that's all we've got. If you want to check it out for yourself, thebookflipper.com/track, TRACK. If you have any questions, drop me a line, thebookflipper@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.